There's a dance party happening across from me.
You have to.
Hey, welcome to another edition of After the Whistle. This is our quote-unquote Valentine's Day, pre-Valentine's Day special. We got some Valentine's
Something
advice
special
that we're going to give to all the lovers. And if you find out that you're not who you thought you were, then we got advice for you too. So,
all right, we'll dive into that.
Yeah, Todd's here, Allana's here. We got a lot to go on, and first we're gonna start with the NBA. Usually we start NFL, but you know, NFL season,
it's over.
It's over. It's over until free agency kicks off. We'll start our A block with the NFL, but until then, we got the NBA for you. And as I said, everything happens after we get off the air. So last week the trade deadline occurred, and there were some moves that were made. Some teams made key additions to their teams. Some teams didn't, and here we are. And the first team is the Golden State Warriors. They got rid of D'Angelo Russell,
right,
and they added Andrew Wiggins. And this was just, for some reason, this was hilarious to me, just because before these two got drafted, some of the critique of each player, because Andrew Wiggins was supposed to be the next superstar, and D'Angelo Russell was deemed he was going to be a failure in the league pretty much by a lot of critics. And so far it's been the opposite.
Right. I mean, he averages 23.6 points per game. I mean, he's shown that he can play at this level.
Yeah, for the most part. I like the Wiggins trade because, you know, when Steph and Clay come back, you're going to have to move D'Angelo anyways, because they wouldn't work together just because only one ball, too many hands that need the ball in it. Yeah. So, and Wiggins kind of replaces Iguodala, kind of like the wing. Hopefully he could be a little more efficient.
Hopefully he could play some defense.
Yeah, make some free throws. That was Iguodala's only real issue with the Warriors was his free throw, but I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, and Wiggins, talent-wise, offensively, he's like head and shoulders above Iguodala, but it's the effort with him. It's like he doesn't have, it's like he goes on these laps, he's just like standing in the corner the whole time. That was one of the issues in Minnesota. It was so inconsistent with him. Then they gave him that big contract, and then he never lived up to the big contract, and him and Towns weren't working. It was always just, does he really care about playing? And, you know, I've been asking you for like the past 2 years, is this guy a bust or not? But
I think he does care that he wants to play in the league. I just don't think he knows entirely how to do it.
Also, he's only 24.
And these guys are different. They're very emotional. They don't know how to be professionals. Like when KG was in Minnesota for like over 10 years, he just played, was a professional, dealt with the position he was in, and then when he was able to go, he was like, you know what? I spent my time here. I was loyal. I moved on.
Yeah. So. And you know, another thing about Wiggins that's so upsetting, KG, when he was his last like 2 years in the league, when he was just, you know, he was just there just to be there. But when he was back in Minnesota, he was saying, like in practice, Andrew Wiggins would have these moments where he'll just dominate everybody. And then he's just like, I don't understand why it's not translating on the court.
Show game.
Yeah, on the court, He'll have lapses here and there. He'll show it, but then it's like, But D'Angelo Russell, he was a centerpiece for teams. I mean, he's been an All-Star, All-NBA. We can't say the same for Andrew Wiggins. He hasn't made no type of accolade.
I would say for Andrew Wiggins, for one, Minnesota needed a whole culture change. They need a whole culture change, and it's hard to play for a team that you know you're not going to win the majority of the games you step out on the floor. And D'Angelo Russell, he's a point guard, meaning he's a leader on the floor. Wiggins really isn't, so D'Angelo's a little more headstrong, and he's able to deal with adversity compared to the wings. They don't really have that brain power, I'd say, compared to the point guard.
Yeah. And D'Angelo Russell gets the ball. He has the ball in his hands a lot more.
Controls everything.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that Wiggins and Towns was just not working because you know what I said about Towns, how soft is marshmallow, you know, and then you got another guy that's considered soft too. So you can't have a team where your two best players are the softest guys on the team. It's in the history of basketball on any level. You're not going to win anything if your two best players are considered the softest on the team. So
I totally agree.
So we'll see how it works out. The Timberwolves are their first game. After the trade, I think they had a record for three-pointers made or something because they also added Malik Beasley, good shooter, and they got some rotation players. So maybe now they actually have a NBA squad, with Russell, and then you got the guy down low, and then you got the wings surrounding Towns with wings. So
You just gotta wait and find out.
yeah, well, wait. The biggest finesse in the NBA had to be by Andre Iguodala. So he sat basically majority of the season. He sat, but was still getting paid by the Grizzlies and refused to show up. And he gets traded to Miami, and they give him an extension. And biggest finesse ever.
Kudos to Andre Iguodala, man. I don't understand why the Grizzly players were so mad that he didn't want to play with them. It has nothing to do with you personally. It's the organization itself. He comes from a winning organization. He's not trying to win with you guys. He needs to go to a contender now. And the Heat, my squad too.
And he's 36.
And the Heat needed Iguodala because the only vet they have is Jimmy
I think it's a
Butler.
great fit, especially for the Heat.
He needed to be on a team that's ready to win now. He can't be on a team where the average age is, 23, 24. But you're not going to do anything for that. I mean, they were.
And it's hard to
weird.
relate to some younger players because, like, Iguodala seems like he comes in there, clocks in and clocks out. Some of them guys probably want to do extra stuff. And he's like, yo, I'm grown. I ain't got time for this.
He got kids. He got kids. Maybe some of those other players.
And he even said it wasn't about leverage getting him to that franchise. It was all about him being patient and his talent, and that he was actually finally being seen.
Yeah, and with this pick, Miami, I think right now they're number 4 in the East. Or them and the Celtics are like going back and forth for that 3-4 slot in the East. And they have a real chance of coming out the East because, granted, Milwaukee's having this crazy season, but we've seen in the postseason when you stop Giannis, he could be stopped in the postseason. And Jimmy Butler is one of those type of players that you could put on a guy like Giannis and stop him from doing what he does.
And to be honest, Iguodala's not even the best player they got out of that little trade thing. They got Solomon Hill and Jay Crowder, so they got some actual guys that could produce out there.
And that whole team, Tyler Harrell having a solid rookie season. A guy from Duncan Robinson, I think he leads the league in 3-pointers. And then Bam, he's an all-star.
Bayou.
So they got everything too. And this guy too, their guard, what's his name, lefty from Europe.
Oh, Dragic.
Joggers too. He's a good NBA guard. So they have a Pat Riley type team.
Yeah, man, I'm all for it. I'm just glad Jimmy Butler got another vet on the team because they need another vet out there.
And he's good with his defensive skills.
Yeah, especially in Miami, you definitely need them. Especially with all those young guys on there, because they could easily get distracted down playing in Miami.
Oh,
Definitely.
gosh.
Hey,
Next.
hey, why do you think when a lot of teams travel to Miami and they have a couple days before the games, they play bad the next game? Not coincidence. I'm just saying. Also in Atlanta too. If they're there for a Tuesday game and they don't got nothing Monday, where they at Monday? Magic City.
And speaking of Atlanta,
Speaking of Atlanta, they got Clint Capella, and I still don't understand the Rockets. Granted, they've won a couple games with this small lineup, but I was watching them against the Celtics yesterday, and James Harden was jumping a tip-off. It was James Harden. And this is not sustainable. It's not.
they put PJ at the 5. I don't know if you've seen his Instagram. They got him on the stilts.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's going to be entertaining for the regular season, but the postseason is going to be hard for them because each playoff team has a big, or at least a couple, that's going to make it hard for you in the half court, especially when they can game plan for you guys. Good luck, Houston.
That wears a team down, too. That will wear you down. And I've said this plenty of times. I completely hate the way Houston plays basketball. I absolutely hate how they play.
I agree, but did you watch last night? Jaylen Brown, he was like bullying guys in the paint because they had no big.
Right.
They're gonna run into a lot of teams like that.
I was just surprised that he just had the audacity to do that, and Houston let him do that. Like what?
Go ahead.
It doesn't make any sense. Obviously, it's going to be challenging for them to figure out how to go up against, especially big players like Anthony Davis. Yeah. How are you even going to compare it? It's not going to work. They're going to need to change it up.
NBA's too good to go run and gun.
Yeah, and also with the player like Anthony Davis, he can guard 1 through 5. Right. So when you play a team with small ball, there's a lot of switching. Anthony Davis could switch, and he'll be perfectly fine guarding a guard, a forward, or a center. So they're gonna have issues there.
It's definitely an experiment. This is the experimental stage.
I mean, Mike D'Antoni has played small ball before, but that's when he had Amari Stoudemire and Steve Nash running the show, and
quote unquote
Yeah.
small ball.
yeah, but it helps when you got Amari Stoudemire dunking on everybody in his way. So, and there's no
6'9", 6'10".
Yeah, there's nobody on that for Houston. But for the Hawks, you like what the Hawks are doing with getting all these young guys?
I like Capella to the Hawks just because they needed a solid big. Granted, he doesn't do too much, but Trey can do the same thing that James Harden was doing for Capella.
Yeah, and I think they wanted to get John Collins back to playing power forward because I think he's been playing center for a while. He might be more comfortable at power forward. Take a little defensively. He won't have to be guarding the bigger guys. But granted, centers are like dinosaurs now.
Yeah, he was a small forward, then went to a power forward, and now to do a center, that's a different position, way different.
I see why he got suspended early in the season. I don't blame you, bro. You play 3 different positions. They expect you to grow overnight.
Hey, no comment. But yeah, as you said, playing with Trae Young, I mean, he literally just have to cut to the basket. He's gonna get easy points just off alley oops and Trae getting double teamed and all that. But the Hawks right now they're horrific. They are horrible. So they're planning for the future. They got a lot of young guys though. Vince is the veteran there, but I mean, once he's gone, they're still going to be a pretty young team.
And that usually doesn't work
at all. at all. It's like you're back in high school or something, back in college. Heck, I think that all their star players should be like sophomores and juniors in college at this point.
Crazy. That's crazy.
Hey, well, sorry, Sox, but whatever. All right, the Clippers, they added one of those Morris twins, Marcus Morris, the fighting Morris twins. I think
9-year vet.
it was a solid pickup for them. They really didn't need to make that many moves because they already had a good team. But I think the dude that traded him for what's his name? I forgot. What in the world's his name?
Mo Harkless.
Mo Harkless, yeah, Mo Harkless. He was a defensive guy, but he really offensively he was hit or miss. Marcus Morris, at least he could give you some offense coming off the bench, and that just adds more because they already got one of the highest scoring benches in the league. So,
Question: did they release Isaiah Thomas?
Yes.
So you mean the man was playing well for the Wizards, and you send him to Clippers and you release him? Like, man, the league is crazy.
Yeah, somebody's gonna pick up Isaiah Thomas.
They need to. Disrespectful.
Yeah, but yeah, the Clippers.
Yeah.
They're like on cruise control this season. The way they're playing, they just want to get to the playoffs and then.
That's how I feel about a lot of these playoff caliber teams. It's kind of hard for me. It's hard to watch the NBA this year. For one, there aren't enough guys out there. Half the stars are injured. 2, I'm just all basketball out. So like every day is basketball for me.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah,
Marcus was in a bad trade. 9-year vet. He's played for the Rockets, the Suns, the Pistons. He's 30 years old. He understands the game. He averages about 19 points.
Hey, getting out of New York is, it's early Christmas for him. As long as he's out of New York and he actually has a chance to play for a championship team, that's great. Now, what's going to be interesting is down the stretch who they're going to go with because, it's going to be Kawhi, Paul George, Lou Williams, and big country guy. Why do I keep forgetting people's names? Yeah.
I forgot his name, too.
Big,
you talking about?
Big country guy. Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah, Harrell. Yeah.
Montrezl Harrell. That's 4. Are they going to put Morrison in there that'll be their version of small ball kind of to close out the game? It'd be interesting because they got some guys in there. Even Landry Shamet last night, he was hitting some big threes. But I'm just interested to see how the Clippers are going to put them all together when it comes down the stretch. What lineup they're going to use.
It's funny you say that cousin CB, he don't have any confidence in the Clippers. Yeah. He think Doc's going to do some crazy substitution and ruin it for him. And it's funny you say that because I've heard that's the only issue people have with Doc's coaching styles is subs in crucial minutes and crucial games.
Hey, yeah. I can attest that's one of the reasons why I had my beef with Doc from leaving the Celtics because of some of the stuff he used to do strategy wise. But that's a story for another day. All right, lastly, the Pistons, they gave Andre Drummond a contract extension during the offseason, and then boom, ship him out. I don't know what they're doing.
But they traded him for a pair of expiring contracts and a second rounder. He even took to Twitter and he said, if there's one thing I learned about the NBA, there's no friends or loyalty. I've given my heart and soul to the Pistons. And to have this happen with no heads up makes me realize even more that this is just a business. I love you, Detroit.
Way to say the obvious. I mean,
the obvious,
this is sports.
To be in his shoes, though, and to not even get that heads up or to have that conversation beforehand and then get traded.
All he had to do was look at his teammate Blake Griffin. The exact same thing happened to him the year before. Got the big contract. They say they're going to build the future around him. He's going to be the guy. Now Chris Paul is gone. And then, boom, he got traded. I mean, all you had to do is talk to your teammate.
Don't get me wrong. It is a business at the end of the day. But he's given his heart. He's showed that he can do it, especially on this level. But they're just trading him out for someone else that is not.
All he had to do was talk to Blake Griffin. That's all. Because he went through this. That's all he had to do. Or look at Blake Griffin's situation, because literally the exact same thing happened to him.
My whole thing is, he got paid, right?
Yeah.
They gave him that extension.
Yep.
And they trade him somewhere else to get paid somewhere else. I get it, bro. You like living in Detroit, but man, this is what it is. Yeah, that too. But it's like he spent enough time there. They weren't getting any better. He wasn't getting any better playing for them. So just move on and a better situation.
What I do see about this trade is Brandon Knight is still in the league. And I thought Brandon Knight was in the graveyard after what?
Yeah. You ain't right.
Listen, man.
Yeah, you're right though.
After that, Brandon Knight's career has just been.
He played all right. It's just
moments.
Yeah, it's just that play just hurts, man. That play hurts.
Yeah. It's, well, Brandon Knight. Well, at least you're still in the league, so a lot of players they would have been out. All right, the Celtics they kept their roster intact. This is the second year in a row they kept the roster intact. Last year, they should have made a move. They didn't. We saw how that happened. This year it was.
They don't need to make a move.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
This year people were saying maybe they need to get somebody big, but not really.
They've been
not
on
too
a roll.
sure.
They've been winning.
Yeah, granted they lost last night, but
they got three. Well, that was because of their own stupidity. They lost last night, but they got three bigs, and what's his name? What they call him? Time Lord.
Time Lord. He'll
Time
be back.
Lord should be back in like the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, he'll be back. Then they got that. They got that Frenchman. You know how I feel about Frenchmen.
My whole thing is they got bigs, and Houston doesn't. So that being said, we'll be all right. Yeah,
they'll be fine. And I think this team they can. They have the potential to go into the finals because they're the East. Like I said, Milwaukee is just playing crazy right now, but they might come to the playoffs and they might have maxed out during the regular season. So somebody could devise a strategy to play them. But yeah, what you said about last night, they did lose because of their own stupidity. Turnovers, and more turnovers. They were turning the ball over like crazy last night.
And you can't. How many times you gonna foul somebody shooting a three? They did it at least 3 to 4 times.
Well, Houston. We know James Harden is like insurance fraud when it comes to free throws, man. That dude be doing some insurance fraud. Some of those.
But why do people still get that close to him? Close out. You could extend your arm. My bad for cutting the camera off.
No, it's all good.
You can extend your arm so you don't have to get all up under them. They're doing some of the stuff that our girls do in the game, and our girls are getting better at it.
Yeah, it was just, I guess it was just one of those games for them. They had won 10 out of 11. They were on a 7-game winning streak, and I think that was their last game before the break. So Jaylen Brown ended up hurting himself, so they need that break.
He hurt himself?
I think his ankle's been messed up for the past couple of weeks, and then Westbrook stepped on it.
I did see that.
Yeah,
I did see that.
So, but yeah, whatever.
And Tatum had a rough one last night too. So
yeah, woo! And the Rockets shot 13 threes in the first quarter. In the first quarter, I think they got up like 7 in the first 3 minutes.
It was a good.
I absolutely hate the way they play basketball.
Because it's not real basketball.
It really isn't. All right. Did you see this Friday? Utah versus Portland. Portland was down to one. They were down 114, 116. Time running down. Dame Lillard.
Oh, yeah.
Drives. The ball clearly hits the backboard. The crying Frenchman blocked it after it hit the backboard, and the ref didn't call a foul. Not foul. Didn't call goaltending.
Remember, I've been telling you. The more assists these people have, the less they focus on doing their job to the best of their abilities. I saw that from the couch.
Right.
What's the point of having replay if you're not going to review that?
Well, that's the problem. I mean, they've implemented the coach's challenge where they can ask the referee to replay what happened, and they're not making the calls properly.
I think these referees, they need to start being held accountable because they're never held accountable. The only thing they do is give a dumb 2-minute report. Oh, this should have been called. This should have been called. This shouldn't have been called. Is that going to change the outcome of the game? And then the following day, the league says officials should have called goaltending. Well, yeah, they should have, but you just can't make these mistakes, especially for a team like Portland who's on the outside looking in the playoff race. Come on now.
For one, Dame was killing. You watched that whole game? That boy was doing some incredibleness. But you are correct. The refs need to be held accountable, and it shouldn't be the referee nothing. It should be that man's name. Because you have no problem pointing out professional athletes when they do something wrong. So why can't the refs get the same treatment? They get paid just as much. Not obviously as much as athletes, but they get a hefty sum of money for being refs. So
and you have to be a certain level to be in the NBA as an official, and these are the type of things that just can't happen.
And the NBA put out a press release saying that since the call wasn't made, they said, sorry, we did see it after watching it after the fact, but there's nothing we can do.
Yeah, there was something y'all can do. Use that replay that y'all wanted to implement during the offseason. Use the replay.
I don't understand how they even let both teams leave the building. When they showed it on Titantron, it was a legit goaltender. I don't care what the rule is. If I'm a ref, I'm saying, no, we replaying this or overtime or whatever it is because it's blatant.
Yeah,
and not reviewable a certain amount of time. That's stupid.
Yeah, and Dame Lillard had a good response for that. He's like, it cost us the game. We're in the play. We're fighting for a playoff spot, and we lose a game because the officials don't make the proper call. These are the type of games that you kind of look back on, and it's we put so much pressure on players to be perfect, and when the officials aren't perfect, it's especially for the most simple calls. Some calls, at the game's going too fast and you miss. That happens. But when plays like that happens, come on.
And when the NBA put out that release on Twitter, he tweeted saying, "I don't want to hear this."
Because it's not supposed. Who's it supposed to make feel better?
Yeah, right.
Maybe the gamblers.
They want to hold the athletes to a higher standard, hold the refs to the same standard.
Yeah, because the only people that statement made feel better was probably the gamblers that benefited from that.
And the refs.
No comment.
And it's also different because this was such a close game.
Yeah.
Really close game.
Yeah, it was. That
116, 114.
Yeah.
Making the correct calls can literally help you win.
Yeah, if this was like a 20
point,
if it was a 20-point lead and it's like, okay, whatever, that happened. But when the game is coming down to crunch time like that,
everything counts.
Yeah, I'm fighting. I'm here. I'm leading.
Dame put the team on his back that game, so I can understand his frustration, definitely.
Yeah. The Lakers made no moves in the trade deadline. I thought they should have gotten something because I feel like this team is missing something.
Well, the Lakers did have their eye on a couple players like Derrick Rose, Marcus Morris, but they were looking at them, but they didn't make the deadline, and they were already going with the other teams.
I like D Rose and all, but they need shooters. They need guys that could space the floor. They don't need guys that do the same thing LeBron does.
Yeah, and we've already seen D Rose in the LeBron experiment. They just can't play together. Their styles don't mesh together. So I don't know why they were thinking that. But yeah, they definitely needed some shooters there. I don't know. They should have pursued Morris. They should have pursued a few other players. But
Solomon Hill. So he's solid.
Yeah, even Trey Crowder. He's pretty good. I mean, we saw that experiment in Cleveland too. So.
Oh yeah, you're right. James Johnson's all right.
James, yeah, there was players out there for them. Even Mo Harkless, they could have grabbed Mo Harkless. I think Mo Harkless could add it to that team, but I don't know. There's something missing with the Lakers. I don't know. They look like a championship team, but
AD,
they don't
LeBron,
feel like a championship team to me.
They don't have a glue guy. Like, they got the 2 stars. You got some guys that might be glue guys, like Kuzma and them, but even Kuzma's not living up to the hype.
Kind of just molded all together.
Because he looked like Juntao out there with that hair, man.
Juntao.
What's he doing with it? Fix your hair, man. Maybe you'll start playing better. Going blonde.
I don't understand the blonde.
He went blonde and he started. His game went down. Ooh.
You're blaming it on the hair.
Hey,
Really?
you know what they say about blondes, right?
I heard a couple things, but I don't think I should be saying on air.
Intellectual wise.
Oh, yeah. All right.
On that note, we're going to go to the NFL.
Always cracking jokes.
Ooh, we are going to get canceled. All right, the NFL. So today they announced Myles Garrett was reinstated by the league by Commissioner Roger Goodell. This is after he served an indefinite suspension. That's not Myles Garrett, that's LeBron. But LeBron he big just like Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
So Myles Garrett got suspended for this, for knocking some.
Apparently the other player said a racial slur. Yeah,
Hey man, if a person's hitting you with the helmet, there's a reason you're getting hit with the helmet. You did something for you, because people don't just hit people with helmets just for no reason. There was a reason, and I said that Mason Rudolph deserved to get hit in the head with the helmet for being stupid, but the suspension was warranted. But still, people
are mad that this man's reinstated. He didn't really hurt anyone. Yeah, granted, he could have hurt that man, but Rudolph should know better. For one, you don't kick a man's area, and 2, you respect a man who's 3 times your size. And stay in your lane, bro.
You're a quarterback. Like, quarterbacks don't fight. That's what you have offensive linemen for. They do the fighting for you. You're a quarterback. You don't fight. And Mason Rudolph was the instigator. I don't know if you watched the show, but we said Rudolph was the instigator and all that. He got sacked. He got mad that he got sacked and tried to take the dude's helmet off. And, hey, he tried to Debo, and it didn't happen.
But, we live in this world where most people will start a problem and then cry victim after. So they were always going to ride with Rudolph, and we're always going to ride with Garrett.
Myles Garrett been in some fights in his life. That's what I got. That's what I got from that incident. And Mason Rudolph seemed. What I got from Mason Rudolph, he was a trash talker. Mm-hmm. Who the fight's happening, he's like back there talking, and then when it comes to him, he's like, I ain't do that. I ain't say nothing. That's what I got. But he's reinstated. Good for him. Too bad he's on the Browns, but
I don't think he'll be on the Browns for long, though.
Hey, the Browns, they're thinking about trading Jarvis and Odell, or trading one of them. They need to look at their quarterback. That's what they need to do.
I don't know.
Speaking of quarterbacks, Phillip Rivers, he and the Chargers have parted ways, and he has become a free agent after 16 years? Mm-hmm. 16 years with the Chargers. Going down as probably one of their best QBs ever, but he's 39, got a lot of kids. He still wants to play. There might be some suitors out for him. I just don't think he's going to be he's a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. I never thought he was.
I think it's time for him to retire. Enjoy your family, man. Like, you looking bad this year.
He can't retire.
He has free agency next month. He's ready. So
I'm sorry. That's what I'm gonna say. I don't want him to. I don't want to see him play at all.
Oh yeah.
He was bad this year.
Well, maybe if he gets a different team, maybe that can change around.
Maybe if he was 29.
Yeah.
But like at 39, no. There's not much more. There's not much more else you can do to show us otherwise that you could lead a team to the Super Bowl.
You guys say this every time.
He's 39 years old.
39, 40. Time to retire.
Hey,
It's not even that. It's when you not producing. It's time to retire. He was looking bad. Before his bad games were just bad. Now his bad games are awful.
Like he would just throw it to the other team. He just has this thing where he just likes to throw the ball to the other team. And granted, he threw for over 4,000 yards this season. He had 20 interceptions.
Right.
And he was sacked 34 times.
Do you think that's one of the reasons why they worded it as part ways? The Chargers and they both decided to part ways. That's how they worded it.
Hey, they both ain't decided to part ways. They knew he wasn't coming back, and they let him know he wasn't coming back. And this is just a way to put a good spin on it. We've parted ways on good
Mutual
terms.
decision.
Like nah.
Right. That was mutual.
It's like nah. You were trash. So and you're 39. You gotta go. I'm sorry. I mean, he can't. Brady and Manning are the only quarterbacks who've made it to the Super Bowl in their 40s. If somebody could tell me anybody else, let me know, but these are the only two that I can remember. Brett Favre had a chance, but he was doing Brett Favre things, as you know.
And you got to get a new young guy a chance.
Yeah.
The only way they're going to change the culture of the Chargers, because it's not going to change overnight from 16 years, so you have to start somewhere.
Yeah, and I believe they have a top draft pick. They have a top 10 draft pick, so they're picking at number 6 this year. So there's some quarterbacks out there they could get. They could get Tua, or they could get Justin Herbert. Make trades for Joe Burrow if they want to. Move up, but there's some trades to be made. But as far as him retiring, he ain't got to retire. He got a whole house that he got to feed. He got a whole basketball roster. He got
enough money. He'll be all right. Dude got a ranch and all that.
Hey man,
grows his own food.
10 kids, and you got to grow your own food at that point.
That's my point. He'll need it. He's great.
I think he needs some spending money or something. All right, we're gonna go to. All right. The Dallas Cowboys are planning to franchise Dak Prescott, and I don't understand why these guys don't want to give this guy the money. Do you understand why they don't want to give him the money?
I thought he proved that he deserved the money this year.
The way they're playing, the way they are paying mediocre quarterbacks. I think give the guy the money.
And when I said how he was playing, just the stats he was putting up. We was talking. He was putting up 300 passing yard games and 250-yard passing yard games. So it's like he showed that he can be a solid Pro Bowl type quarterback.
It's like, what's the other option?
There isn't. At the end of the day, he needs a brand new deal. He needs to sign on the line. They need to give him the money. He's talented. And somebody else is going to pick him up.
And they already had him when he was. They already had him for cheap for this many years. He was on that rookie deal. It's time to pay up. You paid everybody else willingly. You paid everybody else, and now you're reluctantly not trying to pay. You're reluctant to pay him.
Maybe there's something behind closed doors.
And they need to remember that they are the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, they do know.
They need to remind themselves that, and that he is basically the face.
I mean, I saw somewhere they were talking about possibly getting Brady.
I seen that too.
And that's going backwards. That's going backwards. You don't get a guy that's going to be 43 in the fall over a guy who's mid to late 20s. Like that.
And the most he might have is 2 years. Like, come on.
One good hit, he's done. One good hit, we don't know if he's gonna get up again. But them bones are different once you go past certain ages. Well, after 35, after 36, 37, he's getting a little more fragile.
But this is why I say that Jerry Jones needs to just relinquish the responsibilities to somebody else, because you can just tell it seems like his age is coming into play.
Jerry Jones, he need to be enjoying his senior years. Like just. Sit back. You're still the owner. Just sit back and let your son run his son does run it, but give full control to your son or somebody. Do something, man. He likes
the camera. He likes being the face of the franchise, and that's why they forgot they're the Cowboys.
And that's why we have a quarterback that they don't want to sign, because they want to be cheap.
Hopefully, he gets his money.
Well, shoot, if they don't pay him, I'm sure another team will. Some teams that might need him, that may be on the verge of being a contender, might pick him up. So we'll see what happens there. And all right, lastly in the NFL, did you guys watch the Vic 30 for 30?
I did not.
I'm gonna watch all 3 of them this
But-
week.
I think the third one's this.
Oh, then thought it was already. That's already happened.
It showed the first 2, and the third one I believe is this Thursday.
Then I'll watch them all over the weekend.
But yeah, the first, it was, I only brought this up because it was just interesting from watching it, just reliving it as just a reminder of the reactions that certain people had towards Vic for what he did. And granted, there's no evidence that he actually physically did harm to the dog. It was just, he just funded.
Yep.
He funded the operation, but there was no physical evidence that he himself
He just took full responsibility.
Yeah, which I mean,
I don't know who advised him to.
and then those other guys, I'll let you. Yo,
But that's what happens when you're a real one, though. No, I'm saying it was his place. It was his land, so he had to take responsibility of it. So that's just happens when you're a real one. You don't rat out the friends you know what I mean, that were doing your nonsense, because it's like one of them things like people don't care about your situation because it doesn't affect them.
Yeah.
You think he would have been smarter?
You watch it. He said it himself. After he got out, he said it himself. He knew he wasn't supposed to be doing that, but it was just like, hey, why not? Haven't got caught. Let's just keep going.
It, yeah.
But my problem is with the animal lovers and all the other people. They are the absolute worst. Okay, we get it. What he did was wrong. We get it. But then to just pile on with he should be sentenced to death. He should never play in the NFL again.
Too extreme.
It's like, really?
You see what I said on social media. So these people compare their dogs to like human beings, which I agree. Every mammal is important in life, but they're not the same. Like, humans help improve society and help better the life of the world. I'm sorry, animals don't do that. So I respect everything, but understand that they're not the same whatsoever.
Yeah, for people, it was just ridiculous. And still, people to this day, there were protests of him being an honorary captain at the Pro Bowl, and that he shouldn't be there. It's like, yo, these are the same folks that'll tell you to get over slavery, but they won't get over something that happened, what was that, 2007? Mm-hmm. Around there, they're still holding on to that. But you bring up one little thing about discrimination and how it basically shaped the country. They're like, oh, that happened so long ago, get over it.
But it really didn't. It didn't really happen.
No, that's
so long
tell
ago.
him I'm not 501 yet.
Right.
But yeah, that was just the human reaction to it, and it was it was just I was really, I knew that I knew the people were crazy and protesting it, but to the extent that they did that, I just thought it was a little extreme.
Yeah.
And especially for the judge to give him damn near 2 years. 2 years for that.
It is illegal, though. It is illegal when you are committing murder.
It is.
So
my thing is, it's certain parts of the country that's just normal.
we've seen dog fighting growing up. Like, I've seen it around here. So it's not something that's out of the ordinary. But and was he in Atlanta or Virginia when it happened?
The house was in Virginia. He was in Atlanta.
Oh, all right. Well, house is in Virginia, bro. Yeah. So you knew they was gonna do the Vic.
You ever been to Virginia? There's a whole bunch of stray dogs in Virginia. They be roaming around. So, Virginia. How about y'all do something about the stray dog problems too? That could have helped. That could have solved a lot of things. But no, literally, every time I go to Richmond, there's a whole bunch of just stray dogs roaming around. I'm like, yo, I can't go outside. I don't like that.
Okay.
I feel you.
Yeah, so
Good to know.
yeah.
Stray dogs.
So if you're not a dog lover,
Don't go to Richmond.
all right.
For real.
All right, Bones Jones retains his title on some controversy. This match went 5 rounds, but hey, Reyes was giving it to him. I watched the highlights. I watched the replay, and I looked at post-fight pressers. A lot of people thought Reyes won that fight.
That's what I heard. I didn't see any of it. I'll probably watch some of that later tonight. But yeah, that's definitely what I heard.
And he dominated the first 3 rounds. He was. I never seen Jones get dominated like that, but he was getting dominated, and then Jones took control of the last 2 rounds, which kind of saved him. But the first 3 rounds went to Reyes. So it's and plus Jones is also getting up there in age, and this guy's a young fighter.
But the only thing with fighting the champ, you got to whoop him to take that belt.
Yeah, that's the thing about combat sports. If you don't knock him out or take him down, it's just. But they're talking about having a rematch.
Yeah, and there's still people saying that he is the champion. That Reyes didn't. At the end of the day,
Didn't do anything
he's still the champion. He's still the light heavyweight division.
Yeah, and Jones has been talking about moving up the division, but I believe they're going to fight again. Dana White was talking about it. He said that these two will have a rematch because they need to have a rematch because that fight it was a pretty good fight. That's our UFC update. For more, you can watch other shows that talk about UFC. Well, we do it here sporadically. All right. He was asleep during this game. She was somewhere in D.C. or something. Who knows where she was? So Duke versus North Carolina, and talk about craziness, crazy endings. It just fitting between these two teams. So I've never seen a blatant missed free throw executed so perfectly. But I'm gonna ask you in a second about that play. But North Carolina. Duke didn't win this game. North Carolina lost this game. If you saw how many of them dudes were scared to go to the free throw line down the stretch, they were make one, miss one. Miss both. Make one, miss one. They missed so many free throws. I think they were like 17 of 30-something. They missed a whole bunch of free throws down the stretch as well. I'm telling you, nobody on that team wanted to go to the free throw line down the stretch, and they just kept opening the door for Duke to come in. And it's even worse because they had a 13-point lead with about 2-3 minutes left in the game.
That's rare for me to hear that come from you saying that they were scared to go to the free throw line. Usually at that level, Division I level, they're all confident basketball players. And it's the end of the game situation. You got a dream for that situation. UNC versus Duke, end of the game at the free throw line. You live for those moments.
Yeah.
That's what I was always taught playing it. You can't mess this up. This is free. It's your moment.
And Trey Jones, he's like, what an award watch. And Cole Anthony, they were going back at it down the stretch. But then, all right, so that free throw to tie the game up, I'm going to ask you, so if a player gets the ball, they're dribbling, they pick up their dribble, right? I put my hand on the ball, but I didn't knock the ball away from you.
Yeah.
And you dribble. That's a double dribble, right?
That's a double.
Okay. The refs missed that one. Then there was another play. UNC's inbounding it. Throws it. The dude tackles him. He literally tackles him. He's trying to go for the ball, but he tackles him, and they didn't call the foul, and they gave the ball to Duke on that. There were some officiating errors in here because I looked at that play. I'm like, that's a double dribble. That's a double dribble, and I don't know how they missed that. But
I think from the look of it, it looked like the guy slaps it, and it looked like he let it go, but in game, it probably looked like he slapped it and it fell out his hand.
Yeah.
But from the replay, he definitely just he just dropped it on his own pick. And again, that's definitely a double dribble.
And it looked like he was like, they're not going to call this. Okay.
The angle that he did it, they probably couldn't even see it.
Yeah. But my biggest one was the foul when Duke was going to, if they didn't get the steal, they were going to foul. But he blatantly tackled him. The ball went, they didn't call it. They gave the ball to Duke. And that pretty much was, they get the foul, and then that pretty much was.
Hey, the more help these people get, the less they focus on doing their job.
Yeah.
To the T. Right?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Right.
Overall, it was a wild game. It was pretty wild. If you're a North Carolina fan, it wasn't too wild. You probably got drunk after, but. But just another chapter in the Battle of Tobacco Road in the Duke. There's no.
But North Carolina, they did good. I mean,
they need to cancel their season.
Well,
they need
just to see how competitive they were going up against Duke. The fact that they lost 12 of their first 22 games.
Cancel the season.
Okay.
After this game, they got whooped by Wake Forest last night. They need to cancel this season.
Yeah, he's a big North Carolina fan, so
they need to cancel it. There's no great college basketball team this year. That was good.
Baylor's nice.
Baylor's I'm always rooting for Baylor.
Them dudes, though, they got some dudes on that team.
Yeah, but right now they're separating themselves, but there's no real, going into the tournament, we're like, if you had to pick right now, you'd probably say them in Louisville
Yeah,
Like the two
probably
best
say
teams
that.
right now.
Right.
But
Louisville.
March Madness is coming up, actually, so
Exciting.
be on the lookout. All right, NBA top 10, and then we're going to finish the show up with some Valentine's Day stuff for you people. Top 10 NBA plays. Oh yeah. Oh, and we back. Yeah. So last year, if you guys didn't watch the show last year, me and Todd, we gave some Valentine's Day advice to those in need of Valentine's Day advice. All right. So this year, a little bit different, but we're just roll with us. Allana's gonna talk about balling on a budget.
Am I?
If you don't know where to take your spouse out and you don't have the proper funds, she's gonna give you some. Yeah, give you some advice. But I've always said for years that women hijacked Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And last time I said that, I got attacked. Man, they came at me.
What do you mean by that?
No.
Valentine's Day is supposed to be about couples, right?
Right.
It's supposed to be about love, right?
Yeah.
Women use that as an opportunity to get free meal from people that they don't even care to talk to on a regular basis, or that they would never date. They would just be like, oh, let me get a free meal and possibly a free gift too, but I'm not gonna get him nothing. It's like Valentine's Day. Men have to go out of their way to show women that to show women that they love them or something, and the same is not. It's not reciprocated, and I just find that crazy. And last time I said that, people came at me, and I'm just like, I can give numerous examples. I was dating a girl one time, and she said to me, "What do girls get guys for Valentine's Day?" I'm like, check, use your mind, be creative. What?
Yeah, brother, I agree. But we agree on a lot of things, except for Jaylen Brown, the All-Star game. But
We'll start that up.
But no, I totally agree though, because it's one of them things like they always expect you to wine and dine them. They don't ever ask you, you want a stick of gum? You want anything?
Stick of gum.
Nah, like that's how extreme I make it, because y'all don't even offer anything.
At all. They don't.
Okay, you can't put everybody into the same box. Let's not do that, because for me personally, I'm not going to go entertain someone for a free meal, for free this. I could go by myself and have a good time by myself and my dinner. I'm not that type of person, so you can't just categorize everybody in one box.
Yes, we can.
This is what happens when you have two men.
Well, since you're the only female, what some things do you do if you had a man? I don't know if you do it. That's why I'm saying I don't know if
Okay.
I don't want to put your business out there like that. What would you do for Valentine's Day if you were dating somebody? What would you do as a female?
I think for me, words always mean something, and maybe a thoughtful card, but not just to sign it, but to actually just write, a good paragraph and give it to him, or give him something that he's been wanting, or just something cute.
What if he? What would you expect from him? What if what type of gift would you expect from him?
I mean, I think that always depends on the stage of the relationship. Also, you have to factor that in too.
All right. So, fellas, if you've been talking to a girl for a month, don't be going all out. Don't take her to Ruth Chris or anywhere special. I mean, take her to Fridays or something, man. Fridays to do the job. Don't go broke.
But you
don't go broke. Trying to show girl you just met a couple months ago that you got it like that. You want to show them. Hey, Fridays.
Are you kidding me right now?
How am I kidding?
You still could take her out to a nice place. That's
What's
not a
wrong with
problem.
Fridays?
Yo, you breaking bread. She should be thankful with that alone.
True.
And also, lady, I do this every year. The Victoria's Secret kind of gets played out. I mean,
I see pink everywhere, bro.
yeah, come on now. You can't just be like, here's my gift to you. You're like, yay.
Yeah.
Thanks. I mean, we like creativity too. What's wrong? We like, us as men, we like when a female is creative with the gift idea. We don't want, I mean, come on. We're just like, okay, yay, thanks.
I can't say much about Valentine's Day because, I'm taking my daughter out. That's my date.
I'm going to the club. I'm going to the club.
Just sitting away.
I might sit at the bar on Valentine's Day because, for some reason, hey, there might be a married couple that want to befriend me or something. I don't know.
Hey, what time you going? My guess.
What are you doing for Valentine's Day?
What am I doing
What are you
for
doing?
Valentine's Day? That's a good question.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Anybody in the picture?
Is anybody in the picture for you?
And I'll tell you right now, no. She ain't answering my DM, so.
Your DM.
Yeah, the girl ain't answering my DM. I hit her up.
Okay, so how do you slide into someone's
suggestions.
DMs?
I don't slide in DM. I just feel like, hey, what are you doing on Valentine's Day? Do you want to go out?
Okay, that's the question.
And she left me on scene, so she read it and
It'd
left
be
me.
like that.
But
Yeah.
people are busy sometimes. Maybe she'll
Hey,
get back
man,
to
that
it.
was like yesterday.
Oh, yeah, it'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah,
But it's yesterday. You make it sound like it's a week.
There's
and then when
24
you have to
hours
put
in
a
the day,
time
though.
frame. Okay, and people are busy. Sometimes people mentally reply, and then they get back to you when they can. Remember how you said about a signed letter, like a letter. Tell them about your letter.
All right. For all you people out there who have an issue with text message, text is like a letter being sent out. You don't know
Right.
how long it's going to take to reach that person, so they respond at their leisure. That's what
Right.
text message is.
And the person doesn't have to respond right away.
But
Respond when they respond.
But when they've seen the letter, and when you've seen the letter and you get the notification that they've seen it, you would expect a response after they've seen it. Because don't tell me you just see it and don't read it.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Busy or free?
You got any more?
So now your whole letter theory doesn't match up with the DMs
No,
because when you see it.
This is
does,
DMs,
but
though.
He's asking about a particular event on a particular day. But you gonna respond to him on Valentine's Day that morning, saying, "Oh yes, when you say you're gonna come get me?" He already got another date.
So it's okay if he sent a text to somebody and it was just a regular text. They
Hey,
can
you
have
keep
their
shooting
leisure
until
to
you make one.
Yeah, it's different.
Okay.
Timing, plans,
And
timing.
and what about your time frame? What is the time frame?
What do you mean, as in regular messages or like planning things?
regular messages?
Hey, I'm going to be sending it to a lot of people. Whoever responds the fastest, they get my attention.
You can't do this.
I can't, but that's how
You
I
copy and paste the message? to
No, I
everybody?
don't copy and paste the message. No.
What?
Oh, what? We creative over here.
Yes. How dare you?
There's certain levels you talk to each person.
This is true.
Yeah. So, yeah, no copy and pasting.
Explain.
No, maybe you have one girl you talk to a certain way, and then you have another person you talk to a certain way. It's just depending how you and that person interact. Like, I got friends that I can say a whole bunch of stupid stuff to them and crazy things to them that I can't say on here. But since they know me, they know, oh, I'm just being stupid. But I'm not gonna say it to somebody else because that don't know me like that. They'll look at it like, huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said.
We'd ask Pedro what he's doing on Valentine's Day. But
That's horrible.
Pedro a married man, so he probably got his own stuff.
He's doing on Valentine's Day.
Coronas.
I didn't say she a gold digger.
But yeah, some high school basketball update. Senior night at Lynn English tonight for the Lady Bulldogs.
Come support May Lynn, Juliana, Michaela, Stacy, and Raven.
Also, senior night at Lynn Classical for their boys basketball team. So, and congratulations, St. Mary's. They won the Catholic Central, whatever it's called, CCL League. They won it third year in a row. Congratulations to them. Lynn English boys got a game Sunday against Cambridge, which got moved. It was supposed to be next Thursday, but it got moved to Sunday. So I think it's 5:30 or 6 o'clock. I'm not sure. And am I forgetting something? I think I forget. I think the St. Mary's girls are like on a 19-game winning streak or something.
Like that's smacking everybody.
Yeah.
Smacked us in the process.
Yeah. Allana, you got anything to say before we start getting out of here? Yeah.
Nothing. Have a great weekend.
I mean,
appreciate you.
You had some Valentine's advice about balling on the budget, right?
I did not. I mean, just take her out. You can even go for drinks.
Fridays.
Go to a coffee shop. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You could just be in her
Charlie Seafood
environment.
Take her to Charlie Seafood.
You could, and that's okay.
And lastly, before we get out of here, if you are one of those that found out that you are not the main person and you are indeed the side person,
what? How do you find out about that?
How do you find out? Easy. When they ghost you and and you see them posting on the gram that they out with their babe.
Oh, you mean that?
Yes, I mean that. If you find out that you are not the main, me and Todd have a consulting firm for that. You know, if you want to talk, get your frustration out, come down. We'll talk to you.
M&T, but it's not for free.
Hey, for free. Comforting all side chicks.
All side chicks.
You're all important because side chicks are people too. I'm sorry, Allana.
Big hugs, 6'5" wingspan.
I'm sorry. Allana might not come back after this.
Big hugs.
All right, we got to get out of here. I want to say big happy birthday to my nephew. He's turning 11 on Friday, so his birthday's on Valentine's Day. You know, little Mac Daddy. He's going to get all the girls at school. So happy birthday, little man.